Welcome to this week's Thrive in 5. A tip I can impart to you in 5 minutes or less that you can think about, put into practice, or play around with and execute in 5 minutes or less. I want to talk this week about what my morning routine isn't. Now, there's a lot of talk in the health, fitness, and wellbeing space, which I'm sure you've heard, all about morning routines. These long, elaborate, very fixed and regimented morning routines. Now, I do have certain things I like to get done in the morning, but I think the key thing about a morning routine is adaptability and flexibility. So some of the routines you're hearing about will be people getting up at 4:30 a.m. to meditate. They're then doing some emails while their coffee brews, or they're making a green smoothie. Then they're hitting the gym at 6 o'clock to 7, coming back, doing a few emails, going through a cold shower routine, etc. I think that's fine and well if you've got the bandwidth to do that. And it's fine and well if you get so much value from that in terms of increased energy and better health and everything else that you're really invested in doing it. But for many of us, that's just not achievable. And what I think is really important about a morning routine is its degree of flexibility. Not so much that you can just sort of pick and choose what you do, and if you can't be bothered, you don't do it. But if you find, for example, one thing I like to do most mornings is do 10 minutes of meditation. Now, you could argue that everyone's got 10 minutes in the morning, but there are some mornings when I've woken up and the dog that's sleeping over there, she needs to go out, or I've decided to have that extra 10 minutes sleep, or whatever it is that's happened. Or I'm simply up so early that I don't want to make that extra 10 minutes. So I'll move that to later in the day. I've got that degree of flexibility. It doesn't mean the meditation isn't going to happen. Other aspects of morning routine could be just gentle exercise, or maybe having a read in bed prior to getting up. All of that stuff I'm fairly flexible on. But there are certain non-negotiables that I'll stick to. Walking the dog is one of them. Getting up, having a coffee, and then having a relatively chilled start to the day is another. The dog walk is really great because that gets me out into the natural light. I'm exposed to some degree of sun perhaps, but very good to reset or set my circadian rhythm is getting out in the open air, having a gentle walk as well. And one thing I will do is do that fasted. So I won't break my fast till around 9:30 or 10. So there are elements of my routine that are fixed, and then there are lots of elements that aren't, that will happen if I can make them happen, if I get the opportunity, and if not, no worries. So I just want to try and take a little bit of the pressure off morning routines. I think having some set routine is important, but also being flexible and adaptable. So hopefully that's helped out a little bit. I just want to put some balance to the argument that we hate to have these long, elaborate morning routines to crush the day, seize the day, own the day, carpe diem, and all this stuff, which I find a little bit too much sometimes. So hopefully that adds a little bit of balance to that perspective. That's it from me. I'll talk to you soon.